Welcome into Nick at Night. I am Nicole Alshouse, joined by Nick Derzis, the City of Hoover mayor. And as you know, this series, Nick at Night, is designed for you, so we can communicate with the City of Hoover to let you know what's going on or items that you may miss in your own community or your own neighborhood. Now, Nick has been waiting for this episode because he brought in a very special guest, and I'm going to give you the honors, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, Nicole, I brought a good friend that I've known for many years. Everybody knows him, the voice of the SEC Network, ESPN. We all know him, Paul Finebaum. Paul, thanks for coming today.
Mayor, it is a pleasure. I have known you for 45 years. I knew you when you were walking the beat. And the idea that you're now the mayor of one of the largest cities in Alabama is truly remarkable. And they tell us we're nonpartisan at ESPN, but I was pulling for your heart.
Well, I appreciate it. I'd have been real disappointed.
Well, take us back to when you guys first met, because I think everybody at home would love to hear that story, the first time.
Well, it started, I got a job in 1980 for $200 a week at the Birmingham Post-Herald, and first person I met was Nick's brother, Pete, who was the sports information director and later the assistant athletic director at UAB. And Pete thought I actually liked him, but the truth of the matter is he and his wife Kathy would invite me over for dinner 2 or 3 times a week, and I went because I didn't have enough money to buy food myself. So we became friends, and Nick entered the picture because you were just starting your career as well, and became friends. And even though I left town for about 12 years, we remained friends, and I would see him when I would come back for baseball or the Regions or something else, and it was always just phenomenal to watch. I mean, he was such a great police chief. I almost hated to see him move up, but I mean, you can only be the police chief in Hoover for 40 years. At some point, you got to get another job.
That's true.
Very true. Very true.
Well, it's interesting because did he roast you at an event?
Well, he was the I called him at that time. Abby Stockard was Miss Hoover.
Okay.
And she comes and sees me. She wants to raise money for cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
And you know, if they're going to roast me, of course, I said that's not a really good idea because people are going to make fun of me, right? So I said, well, if we do it, we need to do it big. So I called Paul, and he was gracious enough to come in, and he kind of emceed the event. We had a blast. We raised a couple $100,000 for cystic fibrosis, and Abby Stockard becomes she was Miss Hoover. After that, she became Miss Alabama. Then she became Miss America, and Paul and I take a lot of that credit.
And Abby told me right after she won that was the night that really lifted her off because it gave her a platform and got a lot of attention. And I have to confess, the roast was very difficult. It was 2 years ago this weekend, or this past weekend. And having said I've known Nick for 45 years, I knew a lot about the Nick that nobody watching or listening knows about. So I wrote all these jokes, and then
nobody understood
I don't know if you saw the Tom Brady joke in Vegas. It was like that. I mean, it was scorched earth. And the day before I saw Nick, he said, I said, well, I'm going to do it. I gave him the topic. He put his hand on my neck, started squeezing. He said, you will not live to, he actually didn't. But I got the impression that so I kept it fairly clean, mundane, benign. I saw a lot of people falling asleep during my routine.
Do you remember one thing that you said that you want to share with anybody?
Well, I mean, I'm going to let Nick tell the story. It's my favorite story. I've told it 1,000 times, but it's about one of my favorite people, and it's so I don't screw it up.
I say,
Mayor, tell the Nick Saban story.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at the Regions golf tournament.
Okay.
Paul's there. He does his radio show there at least one time during that week. And when Nick Saban would come, we'd have motorcycle escort for him, and the lights and the sirens, and there would be like eight motorcycles with him. So he gets out of the car and goes into the clubhouse, and this guy who I think actually was an Auburn fan, but he came over. He said, "You the police chief?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Would you tell me why it takes 8 motorcycles to bring that guy to this golf tournament?" And I looked at him and I said, "Well, because we didn't have 9." And Paul,
fair enough.
Paul loved the story, and he's actually recounted that a couple of times.
I have made a living off of that story. I mean, no matter where, and it just personifies not only Coach Saban, but the love that he has wherever he goes, especially when he would come to Hoover. Because when he would come up from Tuscaloosa for when the SEC Media Days was at the Galleria, he got there at 7:45 in the morning. He could have driven himself, and it wouldn't have been. But those 8 motorcycles. I mean, it created such an image. And then working at ESPN, what did we do? We filmed it. We filmed all and it looked like the President of the United States showing up, and then the fans, and it really made the SEC Media Days what it was in Hoover, because people said, man, those Alabama fans. And when we went to Atlanta one year, there was nobody there, and I think, let's go back to Hoover. At least we got the motorcycles.
No, did you ever tell Nick the story?
No, I try to.
Not this Nick, obviously, Coach
No,
Saban.
by the way, I don't call him Nick. I call him Coach Saban. I'm afraid if I called him, I mean, it really bugged me. Not to get off the subject, I was one of the first press conferences. I'm already in my 50s, and so I'm like 22-year-old kid. Hey Nick, I'm like going. I have never called a coach by his first name, and the same way. I mean, just off the record, I've got to call him Mayor Derzis in public. I mean,
yeah,
it really is. It's my generation, and Mayor Derzis, he's the son of a military man. You address somebody by their title, not their first name.
Yes. So you never coached.
I've never called Nick Saban Nick.
And you never told him that story about that.
I think I may have told Miss Terry that story once. So when I was we used to I worked at Fox 6, something you're familiar, and we would do a piece in at Coach Saban's house, usually before the first game. And we spent a lot of time together because it's a 2-hour show, and we're there for like 6 minutes of interview. So there's a lot. So I think he would find it humorous. I think he would also agree that probably 8 is not the right number. 9 probably would be better.
Yes. Well, I'm a big, it's funny, I'm not from Alabama, but I cheer for both. I like both, but Alabama, Nick Saban and I both graduated Kent State. So I've interviewed him, and he's just a magical coach. I mean, is he one of you guys both have met him, talked to him. He's just magical, no matter how you look at.
He is. It's interesting. You mentioned Kent State, and you know this, but the most famous thing that ever happened at Kent State was the shooting by the National Guardsmen protesting of the students protesting the Vietnam War. Nick Saban was there. He was having lunch in the cafeteria when that happened. But he's got a great sense of humor. He just doesn't. If you don't know him, you don't see it very often, though.
I could see that. Yeah. Okay, so
I've heard the mayor has a great sense of humor. I certainly didn't see it that night at the roast, though, I can assure you.
One thing I'd like to bring up is, I went from police chief and policeman for 40 years to now political. There was the rumor out there for a while that Paul Finebaum was going to run for United States Senate. You want to make comment about it?
Yeah, it's a funny story. I was asked to do a charity event in late August for the Coach Safely group, Jack Crow and Bill Clark. And I was doing it with Coach Tuberville, the senator. And I literally told a joke at the front. I said, Coach, it's great to have you here. I said, my wife and I just bought a house in Birmingham. I said, so we're legal residents, something you're not familiar with. Everybody laughed, and a guy said something to me on the way out, and the next day, I'm not going to reveal who it was, but this guy texted me. I was back in Charlotte doing my show. He said, hey, do you want to run for the Senate? And I'm like going, sure. I was not really, and the next thing you know, it was like a 10-alarm fire. I'm talking to people in D.C., people were showing up, and it was head spinning. There was a group that was looking for an alternative candidate to the 2 people that are leading the race, and they originally tried to get Bruce Pearl to run, and then he didn't, and they found that I was a legal resident, and it's all about name ID. And it took me a while to realize this is not what I want to do, but it's flattering. You get sucked into it, and finally I thought, you know what? I think I should probably stay in the lane of roasting politicians as opposed to being one.
So it's off the table is the bottom line.
It's over.
Okay, short-lived.
Short-lived.
So let's talk about something that's long-lived, baseball. Let's talk about sports. Hoover obviously is known for the sporting community. Paul, you've been covering sports for how many years now?
Thank you for bringing my age into this. About 45 years, a little longer maybe.
So you never get tired of it, something that you love. People love watching you cover sports. What do you think about the importance of the sporting world in Hoover?
I'll tell you something. When it first started, we didn't know what was going to happen. And Mayor, you may remember, I don't remember, after about 4 or 5 years, the SEC in their infinite wisdom decided to move it to Columbus, Georgia one year. And I said, you know what? I spent the first 8 years of my life living in Hoover, at an apartment. I've been a fan of Hoover, and I wrote this article in the newspaper saying Hoover's the best place. I said, why would you ever take the SEC baseball tournament to some podunk town, we're in the middle of nowhere? And it got published, and the people went crazy. But what happened was it was not a success. Yeah. The people there did not, and they brought it back, and it's never left, and it never will leave, because it is the best baseball tournament in the country because of the community, the people of Hoover. And I think from top down, from the city of Hoover to the police, to the citizens, have turned it into, I know people talk about Omaha, the College World Series, but other than Omaha, there's no other baseball event that can rival this.
Is that what you hear from the residents too?
Well, we hear from residents. We hear from the baseball coaches, athletic directors that come over the years. And Paul's right that we really, I think, do a whole city, and it takes all the employees, not just police and fire. It takes everybody to really put on something that massive, because there'll be 160, 180,000 people that come that week. And those games start 9 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes they'll end at 2 o'clock the next morning because of rain delays and extra inning ball games and stuff. But we've built what I think is a tremendous asset for the community, and really the central location of where we're located for the SEC teams, and now with all the teams coming, even Oklahoma and Texas, which is a little unusual, but having everybody come every year, since last year, it's a great tournament. We're proud to have it. And again, I want to say too, for the first time in the history of the baseball tournament, the championship game this year will be on ABC national television for the first time. It's always been on ESPN2, so that's really a big deal. We're excited about it.
And a big economic driver for the city of Hoover.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for 20 plus years.
What do you think, beyond baseball, what else about Hoover or the city of Hoover appeals to you, or that you think, hey, this is a city that is growing and only getting better each year?
I'll tell you, I think it's the size of it. I didn't understand Hoover, even though I lived there, until a number of years ago when the Regents tournament went to Rossbridge. I happened to live in Shelby County, and when I came out of my subdivision, you crossed into Hoover. And I drove one morning to go do our show at Rossbridge, and I told you later, I was in Hoover for 40 minutes. It was the most unbelievable thing, because I didn't realize that, I literally come out, make a turn, I'm in Hoover, and I stay in Hoover until I get to Rossbridge, and I was like, this is the enormity of that had never occurred to me, because I knew, and I think that's part of it. I think we talked about baseball, but I think the Regions has also been something, because it was at Rossbridge, but for the most part, it's been at Greystone, and to me, it's the hospitality. I would fly in every year over the last 12 years, and at one point I needed to get to the airport. They got me out of there. It was just, and that's not just for me. That was for everyone. Every person that came in and played in that, every dignitary, every celebrity, every person associated with my company who was covering it, just felt special. And we go to a lot of places. You hardly ever feel special when you're covering an event. You more often than not, you feel like you're infringing on them. And in Hoover, it's completely opposite.
And Mayor, what did you, when you first met Paul and your love for sports, and I know you guys have a lot of mutual interest, what what did you like about him? What drew you to him?
Be careful, Mayor.
I'll be nice. He was writing for the Post. Those were the days that you had the morning paper in Birmingham and the evening paper in Birmingham. And Paul, I love Paul because he would say sometimes good things about the University of Alabama, and then sometimes maybe not quite as good. Same things about Auburn, and it was always he always. He wrote what he felt like he should write, which was a good thing. And sometimes he would upset different fan bases, but that's the nature of the beast. But always enjoyed. He's a talented guy, and it's been fun, watching him from the Post Herald making $200 a week to being on, can't put on the SEC Network in the afternoon without seeing Paul Finebaum on television. So very proud of what he's accomplished over the years. He's a talented guy.
Has the mayor taken you to the shooting range yet?
He's threatened. See, I'm afraid if I go to a shooting range, they'll start shooting at me.
There is quite a kickback on those guns.
No.
We shot a Nick at Nite there, and I was surprised at the kickback. But no shooting yet.
He has helped my wife though. She's the shooter in the family, which makes me very nervous.
That's why you're on best behavior.
Always.
So what do you think is important for the viewers at home, for the Hoover residents to know? If there were any thoughts that you really wanted to leave them with?
Well, I think I would say this. In 1980, I came to town and I found an apartment in Hoover. It was before the Galleria was built. So I felt very invested. So I've had a rare perspective for 46 years. To know that community when it was a fairly small, sleepy area that people felt comfortable with, and now it is a destination place, and I'm proud that somehow I took the right turn when I first moved to town, and but I loved it, and I'm amazed every time I'm out there, which is often just how this community has grown. The pride that the people take, and certainly I do think we talked about the baseball, we talked about golf, but I think it's also the high schools in Hoover that I've covered for a long time that have just completely dominated the state and have brought great pride. I know in the state we care a lot about Alabama and Auburn, but I don't know all the high schools anymore, but I know Spain Park, and I certainly know Hoover, and the pride that Hoover High School has brought to this area is unparalleled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to throw in too. It's amazing to have the U.S. Male Soccer Player of the Year, Chris Richards, who went to Hoover High School, and what a talented guy he is. And with the World Cup coming to the United States this year, so we're excited that his parents are still residents with us, and very proud to have him as a local guy.
And Nicole, I'll say this in closing. The roast a couple of years ago raised a lot of money. We had a lot of fun, but I'm begging anybody out there from any charity to consider roasting Mayor Derzis. And this time I'm bringing the raw material, and I will never get invited back to the show again afterwards.
So here's what's interesting. You are kind of funny. I wouldn't have guessed that. That's what's interesting. I wouldn't have ever guessed that you would be funny.
Well, this makes me really sad that I've gone my whole career on television and nobody has found me funny, but it takes Nick at Nite to bring this out. So
we'll see. They may find you wise, compelling, interesting.
Yeah.
But
I'm available for the comedy club.
How many people in your life have ever categorized you as funny?
Nobody. You're it.
Okay. Well,
if you weren't married and I wasn't married, I would be giving you a ring right now.
Well, we've been in the business just about as long. You've done 30 years, and I've done, or 45, and I've done 30 years in the business. And you did police work for 40, and now we're on this new adventure.
New adventure.
Is it everything that you thought? Because here's the thing, both of you obviously so experienced in your profession, so wise. Here's what's interesting. You said when you started your career, and then I'm going to switch to you, Mayor, that the destination sometimes is a surprise, that you never really thought this is where you would be. So if you had to turn back the clock 45 years, what do you think you were going to be doing?
I wanted to be in the newspaper business. I thought that was the ultimate goal, but I saw it starting to cave in, and I was looking for I could not have. There's no way to predict a career, and I'm not going to speak for the mayor, but the first time I met this guy over here, if you had said he's going to be the mayor of Hoover, I would have fallen over laughing.
Well, okay, that's fair enough. So did you
That was one of the lines from the roast I didn't get to use.
Did you, I mean, when you were early on in your police work, and if somebody said, sir, in 20 years from now, you're going to be the mayor, would you have also laughed?
Yes, because it's
Okay.
the same type of deal. I loved what I did law enforcement. That was something that I actually truly
Yeah.
going to work every day. Never really thought about doing anything else.
Yeah.
And then there were some things that happened in the city that kind of just changed my mind. And I said that, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do better than what's taking place. And
Yeah.
that was, and then people start, as Paul knows, they start patting on the back and say, oh, you'll do great. And then you
Yeah.
go home at night, 11 o'clock, and get in bed and you go, whew. Am I making the right decision or not? So, and then again, everything, I would say for both of us, everything's worked out pretty well.
That's true.
And if it doesn't work out, I'm announcing right now, I am running for mayor against you.
Oh, no.
And you live in Mountain Brook, probably right.
I can move.
I was going to say, pretty
I didn't realize
easy.
how much fun people had in Hoover. I'm coming over.
This is more fun than Mountain Brook. We'll get
Much more, no.
We'll get our Mountain Brook friends.
We cannot end this without one piece of wisdom. And it can be anything, any nugget of information that, and you both have time to think about this as I'm asking, that you want to share with just people watching. A tip you've learned, a piece of advice somebody gave you, a mentor, something that somebody told you along the way of first you in your position and you in your position. Paul, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I started as a reporter, and the thing that I was told as a reporter is there's no bad questions, there's no bad anything. So it's the curiosity. It doesn't matter whether I was interviewing a coach, a player, whether I'm talking to a caller or getting to know both of you. I've always been insanely curious about people, and I think that's what I would pass along to, especially to young people who are looking for opportunities to, when you go for an interview, find out ask the people interviewing you questions. If you're a policeman or city employee, people that are interviewing you are always really affected by that. So that would be my words of wisdom.
Okay.
And I would say that I've learned over the years of being police chief and now mayor that I love to meet people that have what I consider the servant's heart, that kindness, that you can go so much further talking with people, being good to people, and helping people than to be the opposite. And it's and like Paul said, we do have a great community, and I've seen that especially the last, I guess I've been mayor now 4 months, of the kindness that people show each other and that want to step up and do the right thing. It's fun.
So who's going to do the next roast? Are you going to roast
I think we roast Paul.
him?
That would be really interesting. Imagine the long line of people that would volunteer to do that.
Oh man, we could. It could be a long roast. It'd be a bigger turnout than the Brady roast.
No, but I do not want to be roasted, but I do think I want one more shot at you there.
Okay, then we got to end it on rock, paper, scissors. You ready? Do you know how to do rock, paper, scissors?
It's been a long time.
You got to go 1, 2, 3, and then you do it. Okay?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, we've tied. We're both scissors. Do it again. 2, 3. What is that? That's not what is a thumbs up?
I just knew you wouldn't have a thumb up.
He forfeited that. Okay, Mayor Nick, come on. Or Mayor Derzis, come on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he won. Okay, well there you go. It might be the roast. I was going to say, he won, and I lost both of them. So there's that. But here's the bottom line: you've got to tune in the first Monday of each month. That's when we do Nick at Night. Paul, thank you so much, Mr. Finebaum. We appreciate your time. Thank you for bringing him on.
Yes,
that was such a special treat.
That was fun. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's good.
We'll see you next time, again, the first Monday of every single month, right here for Nick at Night.